Low chalet, my pierced pussy. What is a woman? What is a man? What should a man do for a woman? And what should a woman do for a man? Let's watch this clip and then discuss.
My boyfriend saw my bank balance by accident and has now found I have £188,000 in savings.
Goddamn.
All of a sudden, he wants to split the bill and isn't acting as generous as he was.
Man.
He sends me his wish list and is acting weird. Should I have told him, or is he being weird? How much?
188,000.
That's a lot of bread, you know. Oh, wait, so does she still expect that for him to pay for everything at the moment? Is that what's happening here? The dynamic.
I think not that he is paying for everything, but I think now it's like he's not as generous as he was. Like in some situations where it's like he'll be like, "Oh, I've got this."
Yeah.
Now
you ain't got any more. You ain't got no more, baby. Hold that. You got it yourself.
So it's like I said, he wants to split the bill now because he knows that she's got the money for it.
What did you think? My opinion, right? I am definitely a feminist, or as much of a feminist as a man can be. But personally, I would say get rid of her. Why do I sound so harsh? What, isn't it cool because a woman's got money this time? That's not it at all. Obviously, we don't know backstory, any more context than the information we've been given. But working off the information we've been given, it sounds like she's a part-time traditionalist. Well, the fact she didn't state in the letter it was an inheritance, that suggests she's earned this herself, and respect to her. But I struggle to believe you can get to £188,000 worth of savings without being money orientated. So that would make her wanting to be a traditional girlfriend a bit more dubious. Is this a business decision? Does she want to be spoilt for the romance, or because she's trying to save them coins? Absolutely nothing wrong with a guy looking after a girl, or vice versa. But just like with sex, everyone has to agree to the arrangement. It's absolutely any woman's right to be treated as a princess. My daughter is a princess. It's also any woman's right to be independent, and whatever that means to them. And maybe this lady was raised in the same way I'm trying to raise my daughter, to be a bit of both. My daughter is a princess, but I want her to be able to handle her own shit. I want her to know her worth and not need anybody or anything. And maybe this lady was raised to believe that a man should look after a woman. A man should be a gentleman and pay for dates and pull the chair out. But it doesn't sound like she's now focusing on the romance of that and more the obligation. It sounds like the guy was more than happy to be that guy. Pay for the meals, everything else. It sounds like he was happy to do that. And it sounds like she made a conscious decision not to let him know she was about that life too. And look how the conversation's being framed. Is he out of order for not doing the extra? He's still paying for things. He's just not paying for 100% now. And they're questioning him instead of questioning her decision to hold back that kind of information. Is she treating him? Think about it. He was paying for everything 100%, no complaints. He was balling. He loved showing off. Finds out she's actually richer than him. As soon as he says, "Oh, cool, do you want to take us out for dinner?" She's writing into podcasts saying, how can I keep my money and be treated like a princess at the same time? So as proof, he's got no problem spending his money on her. She does not feel the same way. Is that someone you want to be with? To me, it feels like she's showing money is more important than... So complaining about spending money on luxuries or questioning his manliness for spending money on luxuries makes me wonder if they moved in together or if she moved in with him, is he going to continue to pay 100% of the rent? Would she then be happy to maybe take him out every now and again for dinner? Or would she still also expect him to pay for dinner then? How far does this go? Do I think she's wrong for withholding the information? Definitely not, bro. There's a lot of bums out here and she's got to protect herself. Like, you don't get to 188 like by being reckless. I get that. But it's her actions since the revelation. Like, if I was him, I'd be like, yo, last week we had 0 problems. I was paying for everything. This week, I'm saying, yo, maybe you take me out. And suddenly it's a drama. That's crazy, man. I think her reasons for withholding the information is obviously as valid as they are. He's essentially passed that test because he didn't know she had bare money and he was treating her the way she wanted to be treated. He's passed the test. So now that information is out, you don't need to be testing it no more and only he pays. Like, it's not about the money. He needs to know he can trust you now. And it doesn't feel like he can. And I would love to know what she considers traditional. Like, is she going to contribute to rent if they move in together? Or is that not traditional? So she would want him to pay, potentially. And then also be paying to take them out. But she works. It doesn't sound like she would be prepared to give up her career for dude. Because dudes come and go. That's potentially her thinking. So she's potentially not fulfilling her role in the whole tandem of a traditional setup. I suppose if you want to be traditional, you gotta be traditional. Does that make sense? You can't just be one-way traffic. You be traditional, but I'm still independent. That's unfair. You know, what do you think? Like, do you think it is always an obligation, or is it? Do you think it's fair that he wants to know that when push comes to shove, she'll be down for him too? Is it always the man's obligation? That's what it is. Is it always the man's obligation to prove to the woman? Shouldn't the woman ever have to prove to the man? I have been single over 2 years, so I'm definitely the worst person to actually gain any advice from, and that's probably why. But yeah, let me know what you think.